Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to be showing you how to make ZWILLING style hard bounce techno 240 kmh style. I'm going to be using this template for my definitive hard bounce sample pack. It's a new sample pack which has a bunch of Ableton templates as well as individual samples, MIDI files, presets, and some drum samples and serum presets. Everything you need to make hard bounce. The link is at the top of the description. I've got a $20 off coupon code there as well for YouTube viewers only. Grab it while it's still available. Thanks for the support, guys, and let's get started. Alright, so we're at 162 BPM. This genre I find works anywhere from like 150 up to 170, so we're right in that range. And the first thing that's very important is the kick and bass. If you listen to these tracks, you know a lot of it really works on this. And having this down will make the rest of everything else work, because if you listen without it, it's just a bunch of mid-range, right? This really holds the track down. And it needs to kind of work as one thing, right? So, first with the kick, you can see it's just this kick here. I brought it in and I've distorted it just a little bit with pedal. It's a good way to do it to kind of bring some punch out of your kick, where you just put the dry wet very low, like here's without it, with it. Right, and it just adds a little bit of punch. If I bring this all the way up, you can hear what it's doing. Right, it's really just adding a little bit more of that, like, in the mid-range, to make this sit on top of the mix. You want your kick to be the loudest thing in these tracks, right? That's why we start with the kick and the bass. Then we got the bass line. We're in the key of B minor here. You can see we have, like, this. It's almost a full eighth note, but it's just as short on the upbeats. We got two layers of wavetable. So we got this one. I'm using this pulse as well as this verbed wavetable. And then you can see I've got this low pass filter here with a very short envelope on it, right? You can see that right there. It's got the amp envelope, which is just really punchy. And then also this envelope 3 is on the pitch, which if I get rid of that, you can hear it when I bring it back in. That pitch envelope just makes this a bit more punchy, and it makes it kind of hit against the kick. Then we got the second layer, which has a bunch of unison. I have some different wavetables on this, and yeah, you can see it's still the verbed one. And the matrix is looking the same, but then I have a bunch of unison. And it's high pass, so it basically gives us like a stereo layer on top of the bass. Again, all just adding up to the texture. Then we've got our drums, which sound like this. So starting with the main hi-hat, I have this one. It's this punchy open hi-hat that I've made super short, right? So it'll fit really well with the kick. And then I've got a bit of reverb on it. And then you can hear without this auto pan, the reverb kind of rings out over top of the kick, which doesn't groove as well. So then I've got this auto pan here where I've turned the shape all the way up, so you get this really sharp, like kind of square wave thing, right? It's originally a saw wave, you can see, but then because the shape is all the way up, it's just very like on off, right? Side chaining that, so it's just really, really tight, and it kind of makes it fit really well into the groove while still having the reverb. And then the other main drum is the clap. You know, this is just all about how it grooves with the kick and if they fit together well, where this one does. Then we got some percussion. So what I've done is I've chopped up a few different things. Right, it's that, and then this. Right, and then if you take two different loops like that and just take one quarter note of this one and one quarter note of this one, you can kind of build your own percussion loop this way, right? And it can work, you know, you can make your own thing that works really well for the track. Plus I've got this one, which just hits once every 2 bars. And it just kind of helps remind you like where you are in the beat, right? Then we have our synth stabs, starting with this one. So again, just playing on B, the same note as the bass line. You can see we're really playing with the note lengths here, like having this little choppy, you know, with this one. Like, you could just hold it out forever, but if you play really short notes, you get that kind of stab that you want. So, this is made with Wavetable. For these kind of like trancey stabs, Wavetable is really the best, just like Wavetable synthesis in general. I've got this digital and then I've got this bit ring here. Now, the thing is, the bit ring is an octave and 7 semitones up, and it's not even that loud, you can see. Right, you barely hear it because it kind of blends into the other one, but because it's an octave and a fifth up, right, that's what the 7 semitones is, you get a different tone. Like if I put this at the same octave, right, it's not that kind of trancey magic that you want. So the 7 semitones plus an octave really does a lot. And then yeah, I've just got the amp envelope set like this, where it's basically like a brick. Like if you hold down the note, you hear it, and then there's no release or anything. So you can do those really stabby notes. I've got a bit of OTT on this, which without it, with it, you can hear it really helps bring out the mid-range and the high end, plus some drum bus without that, with it. Also just kind of saturates it and brings out a lot more of what you want. Then we got this hybrid reverb here set on this large bunker. And then I got the EQ to where it's cutting out some low end, but it's just boosting a bunch of highs. Cutting some more low end from the whole sound with a high pass filter. And then we got this auto pan sidechain, so it's nice and fitting in with the kick. Then we got the second stab. And if you listen with that first one, they really play together. Right, having that like dirt can make a lot of power in the track. And it's cool because you don't necessarily hear that it's two different stabs, but then it just creates a lot of variation in the pattern. So this one is the same technique, the same note as the bass line, you know, choppy, punchy notes. And then we're using wavetables again. So I've got this malice wavetable, and then another malice, but just an octave and 7 semitones up, and on a different space on the wavetable. So yeah, wavetables where you're not modulating it or anything, you're just keeping it in one spot. That's really the secret to creating these stabs. I've got the same kind of envelope here, and then we got some reverb, some drum bus after the reverb with the transients up, so it kind of compresses that reverb. See how it like brings out the reverb a lot more. High pass filter so it doesn't mess up the bass, and then a bit of auto pan sidechain. Then we got this little vocal stab. Right, it's just on the upbeats. There's no processing or anything. The processing is more so inside of the sampler here. It was like this sample, where you can see I just dragged it so that you're just getting this part. And it adds a lot of energy on the upbeats. Like if I get rid of it, and then when we bring it in, you can hear, yeah, there's a lot more energy that this adds to the track. And then we got a little screech. Right, so these guys use screeches a lot. The key here is you can see it's playing B, the same note as the bass line. We are playing with it across different octaves. Like that. Where, yeah, and then as far as the synth patch goes, we have 2 layers. So I'll turn off all the effects and just show you what it sounds like, and then I'll show you each layer. Right, so here's the first layer. It's this super unison square wave, where you can see I've got the pulse width up on the first one, and then it's up a little bit less on the second one. But yeah, everyone thinks the screeches are saw waves, but actually having them be square waves with a bit of pulse width modulation like that can be really good. The other secret to the screech is the pitch envelope, where it's shaped kind of like this, where it goes like wow. but it's not that much. It's only at 3. Like if you turn this up too high, you know, it's not really what you want. You just use a tiny bit of it in the matrix, and it does that screech kind of movement without like overdoing it and making it a laser sound. The other thing that's very important here is unison. I've literally just got it all the way up. Plus, these are detuned a lot too. Like you can see they're 100% in either direction. I literally can't turn it up more. Then we got the second layer. And what this is just 2 square waves, same pitch envelope even, same amount and everything, but there's no warp or no pulse width and no unison. So then you layer those 2 layers together, and you kind of get like the power of the no unison and then the like width of the unison together. Then there's some roar, which distorts it. You can see it's at 100%, and I'm just hitting the mids and the highs kind of differently. With distortion, again without. With a bit of reverb. And then this auto pan sidechain and a high pass filter, which helps keep the reverb in check. So that is going to be it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like this video as well as subscribe. Let me know what you think of this video. If you want to see more of these hard bounce masterclasses, like I said in the beginning, you can get the definitive hard bounce pack off my link at the top of the description on my website. It's got these templates, MIDI, presets, samples, everything you need, some drum samples, and some serum presets as well to make your own hard bounce tracks. It's a great way to get started immediately. There's not a lot you can do today to make better tracks like right away, but if you grab this pack, I promise you will. Thanks for the support, everybody, and I will see you tomorrow with another video.